Grand Rising, Grand Rising. Welcome back, everybody. We made 1 week today. We are coming here live from YouTube. I hope everyone got the link. I posted it on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And we are so glad to see Mr. Butts back in the house. How are you doing today,
I
Mr.
am doing well, Miss Pitts. How are you this happy morning?
I am well. I'm operating
hmm
off of 4 hours of sleep or less. So,
Hey,
so I'm excited about chapter 2. Today we are reading The Potential of Sexual Orgasm. Are you excited?
uh, I don't really use that word for me. I am eager to jump in.
Okay. Okay.
I wouldn't say excited.
We'll take eager to jump in. Hold on,
Um,
y'all.
maybe later. Maybe later.
Okay. You so funny. Yeah, so last week we just want to thank everyone who read chapter 1 with us, and also those of you that came in a little bit later, maybe after church or whatever it is that you do on Sunday, and you read along with us or listened along and you commented. Shouts out to you. Welcome to all of my new subscribers. Welcome back to my YouTube family. We're going to get right into it today. We saw, we had a little feedback about when we started, and we want to appreciate you for the feedback. So for every video, we will timestamp the beginning of the reading of the chapter, and we're going to timestamp the end so that you all who don't feel like the chatter or the banter, you can go back and click on those markings. And also, we will be discussing whatever it is we feel like stopping along the way, because we are not robots or AI. We are live and live in color. And so this is
Got that
book club
color.
in color. And for book club, you do want commentary and to discuss. We're not just going to read along. We'll try to minimize it to wait for the end to conversate. But if it's something that stands out, feel free to comment in the comment section. Feel free to chat with us live. I am going to be over here just making sure all the comments are ready. And if we don't comment right back when you comment, then we will go back and address the comment in the comment section of the video. Do not forget to share, like, and subscribe. This will help the book be pushed forward in the algorithm. We appreciate all comments. Of course, that will push it up in the algorithm. And just any type of support. You can listen to this on your way to work, on your way home from church, or whatever your thing is. So, do you have any commentary? Did you read ahead of time, Mr. Butts?
No commentary. I am ready to jump in as soon as I find out where I'm supposed to be. There I am. Okay.
You
I'm
got
ready. Mm-hmm.
oh, okay.
Ready? Potential between polarities. Male and female represent two opposite poles of elemental nature, and the potential for energy transfer between polarities is inherent. This is yin and yang. Let's examine a metaphor. Think of a very hot medium in vapor form and a very cold medium in liquid form, with a boundary between. As the hot vapor flows in the opposite direction of the cold liquid, there is a transfer of energy. If the difference in temperature is not that great, the potential between the poles is moderate. For example, imagine that the vapor is steam and the liquid is a river. The potential between poles is low and the rate of transfer is moderate. The flow is not arrested. This is a metaphor for a juvenile orgasm. Uh, but what if the vapor is superheated oxygen and the liquid is cold liquid nitrogen? This is going to produce an explosive result, as the difference between the two mediums is extreme. The boundary will not be maintained. That is, the two mediums transfer their properties to the other medium. The flow is arrested, and the interaction is so violent that a new dynamic is created. This is a metaphor for a high level orgasm. In other words, a high level orgasm results when the built up tension and polar potential, and a polar potential between a man and woman is so great that the sex produces a violent explosion, yet one that is contained. The boundaries between the two poles are temporary and partially eroded. The direction of all energy flows within the cells changes. The pleasure is no longer pleasure. The pleasure is intense enough to produce a permanent change in their psychology and the alignment of their four bodies. It begins a transition that has nothing to do with sex. Two people having a regular orgasm wake up the next day as the same people. Two people after a high level orgasm wake up the next day fundamentally changed. You want to say anything about that, Miss Pitts? Or are we going to keep going?
You know I do.
I know you do. That's why I stopped.
Yeah. So this right here is what we're going for. To be fundamentally changed. And not just for oneself, but for both parties. This is what I think any orgasm or connection should be. So yeah, I'm excited. Okay.
So I just wanted to recap just one thing, or two things actually. Just remind everybody. Hopefully, everybody at least listen to the first chapter that we read last week, and if you don't have the book, so what Master Mao suggests is that there are three types of orgasms: juvenile level, adult level, and high level orgasms. And basically he's saying that the juvenile, while it may produce something akin to an orgasm, it's shallow. While a high level orgasm will incorporate the four bodies of the human being that he suggests exist. And those are the quantum field body, which is your etheric body, the light body, the energy body, and the cell body. So that's what we're referring to when we talk about all those bodies coming together when you have a high level orgasm. And as Ms. Pitts pointed out, you are fundamentally changed by this, what I'm going to call transition.
Mm-hmm.
So, moving on, we're paragraph 2. Of course, intensity and polarity are not the only ways to define high-level orgasms. Even more defining is quality. This is paramount. The quality of a high-level orgasm is such that it changes one's perception. Again, let's use a metaphor. There is a plain, mass-produced wine, and then there is gourmet, handcrafted wine. We can enjoy a regular glass of wine, and within a week, the experience is forgotten. However, I have also tasted especially exquisite wine that caused me to reconsider my whole life. The aroma alone was to satisfy. It made the food taste better. The deluge of wine upon my palate changed my sense of taste and smell forever. I was no longer satisfied with regular wine. A spiritual experience had occurred, and I was lifted up. By having the experience, I desired to become better. Can you see that? There's a certain quality to high-level orgasm. It tastes better. It changes your perception of sex and life itself. I once had a very intense high-level sexual experience with a conservative young lady. We went back and forth between periods of good sex and short periods in which she was continually orgasmic. This went on for 2 hours. By then, her orgasms were lasting 5 or 6 minutes each, at which point she launched into a strange orgasm state. She began to undulate like a snake. The loud moans changed to a low-level purr. Her eyes opened, but she could not see. There was a blank look and she did not respond to me. It was as though I was not in the room. I pulled out after a minute, but she kept going. After another 15 minutes, she simply stopped and closed her eyes. There was rim and lip movement. It was 45 minutes before she came back. The next day, she rejected most of the food on her plate for breakfast, which was highly unusual. She could smell all the way into the kitchen, which had not been the case the day before. She made me stop the car at a plant nursery. She ran to the flowers in bloom and almost cried with joy. She exclaimed that the flowers smelled so exquisite, better than any flowers had ever smelled before. Uh, quite the memory, huh, Nina? Another woman had a high-level experience on the Tantra table, followed by a short session of ESR. She
So,
told me that when she walked into the Home Depot store the next day, the scent of the flowers was nearly overwhelming, as though she had never smelled them before. She spent 10 minutes just walking around the plant section, unable to pull herself away. There is a major difference in quality between high-level orgasm and juvenile orgasm, because there is a major difference in the level of intensity between high-level orgasm and juvenile orgasm. High-level orgasm is a vastly superior experience. It is not purely a sexual experience, but something much greater. In fact, it is more of a spiritual experience or an energetic experience than just a sexual experience. And for this reason, you need to change your strategy if you seek to achieve high-level orgasm in your life. Some people are lucky and naturally have high-level orgasms. Some individuals are rare, and most lose this ability early in life. Within this book, we are going to explain in some detail how to achieve high-level orgasm. As we have said, male and female represent polar opposites, which means that each gender is like a battery of stored energy. There's an energy potential naturally stored there. These two poles of male versus female, or yang versus yin, are at opposite ends of an electromagnetic spectrum. What we mean is that there is a natural attraction between them, and if the two come together, portions of that stored energy are released. Orgasm is the release of that energy. The question becomes, how much energy is released? We know that some vessels can store more electric energy than others. Every electrical engineer understands the dynamics of this model. Some molecular types are very good conductors, while others are inert and will not conduct. People are the same way. Some men are very electric, and females can sense this. Such a man's touch sends shivers up her spine. So how does a man become more electric? Part of the answer lies in the properties of the physical cell body, and part of the answer is in the portion of his energy body called his auric field. The energy body is the primary sexual body, not the cell body. Mainly, it is the water molecules in the body that serve as the primary conductor of the sexual energy. This is paramount. So consider that for a moment. This energy of orgasm does not flow through carbon and carbon-based components, as well as it does not flow through water. It does not flow through muscles and flesh particularly well, as protein is primarily nitrogen fixed. Nitrogen is inert, does not conduct electricity. Amino acids conduct better, but it is the water that produces the central path of conduction. Thus, women conduct better than men, as they have a higher water content. Some blood types also conduct better than others, mainly due to the design of their connective tissues.
hold on.
Now look back to the central premise. Men and women in technical cultures have artificial constructs that prevent them from storing and releasing sexual energy to the opposite sex. In particular, as overwhelming percentage of the female population today has artificial constructs that prevent women from releasing their built-up sexual potential energy into orgasm, men have a serious problem when it comes to the storage of this energy. You got anything to say about any of that?
Of course I do. I was having camera issues, technical issues over here, so I just had to run back and we're not gonna run past none of that. I'm just like, okay. So the first thing you said that stood out was when he was describing the young lady that he experienced,
That
and
happy memory.
huh?
So that happy memory.
Yeah, and it's just listen. He said that a snake occurred,
She started to undulate like a snake
like a
after
snake,
5 to 6 minutes.
and that makes sense because when you're dealing with the Kundalini, when you look it up, it rises up the spine from the base, the root chakra. And so I'm just like, okay, so the build up there is wild. And then
Mm-hmm.
the fact that she could smell the aroma even more clear. Listen, clear me up. Clear me up. Please clear me up. I don't want no interaction that don't bring clarity. Listen. This is deep. And I'm just thinking in my head, okay, they say that the enemy is the author of confusion. But this right here, chapter 2, is talking about how that brought clarity for that young woman and how she could appreciate, and she ran to the garden center. You know, this is my language.
Yeah, the gardener you are. Yes.
Listen, I run to the I've upgraded to farmer. I'm a farmer now. I ran to the garden center several times without clarity. See, without clarity.
So can you imagine if you had it?
Yes.
That part.
I would not have probably been buying plants that weren't going to survive the Texas summer if I had clarity going in. This is a word. It's a whole word. And so then he went on to explain how a man can become more electric and how it's just not a part of just physical words or him speaking it, but it has everything to do deep down in themselves. And I love if you look up a picture of the human cell, the structure, it's a lot of stuff there. So within his cells, and then it says that some different blood types and women just having a higher water content. It's all science. And so when you're going into this with intention, because every connection should be intentional, and then you bring somebody some clarity, I would call you a valuable attribute to society. Okay. Shout out to you, whoever this applies to. What do you think about it?
I tell you, just you know me, I'm jumping into the science of it, and it brought a question. It brought a question. And I don't know how many people have heard this. I'm going to ask you: have you ever heard women espouse how the sex with a bigger man was always more gratifying than with a smaller man?
You mean size wise?
Size wise, yes. I mean, and not size of the member. I mean, right. I've heard. I mean, I'm thinking of one specific, a conversation between two of my sisters, and she's like, but he's kind of big. I ain't never had no big guy, and the response from my other sister was, well, you ain't lived yet. You need to get you a big dude. If you ain't had sex with a big dude, you ain't had sex.
Wow. Okay.
So it makes me wonder if that whole water content thing might have had something to do with it, because the guys that are more massive are obviously going to have more water. It's not just fat. I mean, even your fat cells are made up of 70% of it is water.
Right.
But it makes me wonder if that whole premise of how much more water you have to conduct the kind of electric energy that is produced well, actually it's stored, but then it's combined with the females and it produces a connection. I'm wondering if that's something that drives it, the actual size, not the size of a man's member,
Mm-hmm.
but a bigger guy. Uh, uh, as I think about some of those conversations. So, and
Yeah.
that was kind of what I thought.
So that makes sense. I mean, and water having an electric charge. And I once point out too that water holds memory. And so
Mm.
all of it is just so deep. But okay. We'll save it for after after contemplate.
Okay, the stages of the female orgasm. Okay, strap in. The female orgasm is not a gradual rise to a peak, but rather a series of stages or steps up to a plateau or climax. There are three general categories of orgasm, as we have mentioned before: juvenile orgasm, adult orgasm, high level orgasm. In the appendix, there is a table called the sex value table. It provides a general breakdown of these three general categories. It should be understood that the majority of the population is stuck in the juvenile phase. The discussion that follows concerns adult level orgasms. In future sections, we shall define the juvenile level in greater detail. Adult level orgasm is still mainly a sexual event and is both emotional and energetic. It does not require a major change in the potential between the male and female polarities. In other words, two normal, healthy people with regular masculine and feminine energies can attain this level of orgasm. Adult level orgasm does not require any special function of the reproductive system. It does not require a big penis to achieve. Incredibly attractive people can achieve it just as easily as relatively plain or average looking people. Adult level orgasm is normally intensely pleasurable, but it is not a transformative event after such sexual activity. Both the men and female typically feel depleted. The basal level of Kundalini is temporarily lowered. One needs to build energy and neurochemicals back up before engaging in sex again. According to the ancient tenets of uh, Amanamir, there are said to be 9 stages to the full experience of orgasm by women. The Tao also speaks of 9 stages. Some systems count 7 stages, excluding the 2 final ones, as they are seldom reached. In the GTLS, Grand Trine Life System, we list 4 stages of orgasm because we combine matching pairs. For more clarity, you can refer to the illustration in the appendix showing the 7 reflexology zones. Zone 1 is the heart chakra. There is no matching pair for zone 1. Zones 2 and 3 are combined. Zones 4 and 5 are combined. Zones 6 and 7 are combined. We can envision her journey of bliss as a series of terraces or steps along the side of a mountain, one that gradually rises to the summit. There are 4 steps or levels that lead to the summit. When the woman reaches this summit, that is the limit of what we define as adult orgasm. When and if a woman exceeds that summit of adult orgasm, she begins the phase we call high level orgasm. During the adult level intercourse, the man and woman go through an exercise in which the 7 genital reflexology zones send energy in a special sequence to the corresponding areas of the physical body. When the erect penis is in contact with the aroused and expanded vagina, it is just like the contact made in an electric switch when 2 contacts meet. This energy is first sent to one chakra for a period of time, and once that part of the aura is energized, the current is switched to the next set of chakras. It is like the action of the distributor on a car motor. The sequence is important. In sexual therapy, we start with the lowest chakra, the root chakra. and work our way up. In the spiritual work of initiation and the priesthood, they often start with the crown chakra and work down. However, in natural intercourse, the action does not start at the bottom, the carnal end, or at the top, the spiritual end, but instead begins in the middle at the heart chakra. The first plateau, the first stage, is the heart chakra. In the first few minutes of lovemaking, all of the spirit energy is focused on the heart chakra and the orgasms and systems associated with the heart and lungs. This is stage one of orgasm. The man and women, the man and woman begin to breathe heavily. The hearts of the man and woman begin to pump faster. Only when and if this field is adequately energized will the woman or man have her or his first spasm, which can cause an orgasm. A small but significant portion of the population ends sexual activity at stage one without ever fully energizing the fourth field in a complete way. This is juvenile orgasm. This classification includes men and women who are non-orgasmic or who are retarded in ejaculation or premature in ejaculation. Once the woman successfully saturates the heart field, she then moves to the next zone, which is zone 3. At this point, the energy switches and the solar plexus, chakra 3, and the throat chakra are both brought online. The heart chakra is still active too. After the heart chakra, the chakras are brought online in matched pairs. The sequence is listed below. Stage 1 is heart chakra. Stage 2, throat chakra and solar plexus simultaneously. Stage 3, brow chakra and sacral chakra simultaneously. And stage 4 is crown chakra and root chakra simultaneously. Basically, the energy starts in the center of the body at the heart and works its way out to the periphery in set stages. There is a buildup or stage of energy during each stage. One does not advance to the next phase until a minimum amount of energy is stored in the reflex zone. Any damage or underdevelopment to the sections of the body cell associated with that energy zone will implode, will impede this storage. Excuse me. If a woman or man reaches stage 4, the entire cell body and all 7 layers of the auric field are then energized. If any man or woman were to actually finish puberty, they would probably experience this, but very few do.
Okay, so that right there, it just made me think back to the forehead kisses and how it says that brow chakra will be ignited with which one?
Um, the sacral chakra.
Sacral. Yes. So it makes me think back to the relationship between the brow chakra and the sacral, because in all my women communications, women often talk about that forehead kiss and how sacred it is and how it will naturally just soften women of all ages, all walks, all ethnicities. And so that's what that made me think about. And then also the order of things. So stage 1 being the heart chakra. And for me, um, I have to have some type of light towards you to even be venturing into that type of zone. And so that, go ahead.
No, sure. No, I'm saying sure.
And then just the throat chakra, me as a sapio, that has to be engaged as well. And so thinking about that throat having some type of banter, for me, a lot of people speak on I just feel like in society now, people are just so damaged by human harm that some people can't enjoy the banter, the back and forth, right? And so for me,
Mm.
that is like the buildup of things. And I love it. I love it. I like the feedback out of that. And then we're talking about that brow and sacral, brow and sacral.
Sacral.
And then going into the crown chakra, which we all know the crown is above the head. And so just fully engaging and going there, I just think about how you have to be on some level um open. Like not closed but open and receptive to even go there. And so I like that he speaks on that. What do you think about that?
As I was reading it, it seemed to make perfect sense that any woman that got to the point of experiencing a high level orgasm through the four or seven stages
Mm-hmm.
should probably be mimicking that snake undulation that you referred to from the last couple of paragraphs,
Mm-hmm.
when you just talk about the how the energy was flowing from your center, both up and down.
Right.
You can almost envision the movement of a snake. When they, there's two types. Well, snakes move in two different type of ways, but usually there's there they create tension in the middle of their bodies, and then the muscles move back and they propel themselves forward at the same time. And kind of
That,
a great description, I thought, um, when we got into the actual scientific process, uh, as far as the energy flow is concerned. And
mm,
yes, I didn't think much of it. And I remember the movie, the best man,
mm-hmm.
where they talked about he got you, girl, with that damn forehead kiss, and they were just friends. But he's like, you know how sensual that is.
It is.
And I was like, I never it was never anything willful or intentional that I did, but there were times that, as opposed to the old kiss on the cheek,
Mm,
regular or French or otherwise,
mm-hmm.
if a woman was shorter enough than me, yeah, she got a forehead kiss, and I didn't think much of it until
She
that
gotta be
movie.
short.
Now I know it's
Oh,
a
right.
weapon in a
Listen,
tool in the toolbox.
it is so I would say when I receive a forehead kiss, it makes me feel like I can put down my wall. And of course,
Mm-hmm.
you're not talking, but even just to take out time, and it's also to see up the pineal gland. So that thing
I
is
was getting
deep.
ready, I was getting ready to go there because that was the second thing I was going to say. I had always wondered if there was some connection to the proximity of your third eye, your pineal gland, and
Mm-hmm.
if there was perhaps. I've never tried to answer the question for myself. As far as, is there any residual um, connection between here and the pineal gland? Because we know there are no nerves. There are no
Right,
nerves in the brain.
right.
So it's not that there's any feeling there, but I always wondered from a spiritual level if there was a connection, because it is close, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's also spiritual. We're
Mm-hmm.
not, and that's why people talk about and yeah, I've had a lot of experiences, baby. I'm aging in reverse over here. So
Mm-hmm.
when you talk about sex, it's more. It has always been more spiritual to me, and not because I'm surface level. I'm just that girl. It's deep over here. It's never
Mm-hmm.
been just something that I can casually do. Me and Mister Butts always talk about it. He laughs at me, and he's like, can you ever see just having something without any intention of a relationship with? And I always answer's always the same. No, because it's always spiritual to me. I don't even want it if you don't intentionally come in with a healing intention. If you coming just something to do, this ain't it. I want to be healed. What did it say? I'm trying to go up. As the say, listen, I just don't want nothing low vibrational. And we're talking about that root chakra, which is where most women store pain and hurt and their experiences that were not so friendly. So I just think when you coming in, regardless, a man of character is coming in with intention to clear some of that out. Like, come in and get what the brother said, clarity. You coming in, you clearing out, you rearranging the different rooms and compartments, and your girl trying to go run to the garden center. It's like that's deep.
Yeah.
And so for me, it just makes, what do they call it? Confirmation. Yeah. It's just confirmation for me that that information somehow has been stored deep down within my DNA because I intuitively knew that it was a little deeper. Have I casually? Of course. Some life is life. You might have experienced that, but I pay attention to how I feel afterwards. If something is taking away and I'm feeling empty or I'm in my head afterwards, that is not clarity. And that's why I don't, because I don't want to be in my head about it. And it's not going to go anywhere. I've had experiences where that remains there for weeks. That's why I don't knock anybody that does, but my conscious and subconscious is a beast with me. And so I don't even want to have to think about how I casually did anything. I like doing everything intentional. So that right there, I'm going to pick up where you left off, passing the baton. The chapter we're on, everybody, is the chapter 2, the potential of sexual orgasm. For those of you that are popping in and popping out, don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and comment. And also follow us on our socials and tell a friend to bring a friend. Come in, but become familiar with chapter 1. After we close this out, I will have chapter 1 linked. So if you have not, come where you are. We will be here every Sunday from 9 to 11. And we will be breaking this thing down. It gets really deep. And we want to communicate with you all. Even if it's after the line, leave a comment. I will be checking the comments. And we will communicate in the comment section if need be. Now, I'm picking up at the circle that began at the heart is expanded to a larger circle. Now, at stage 2, the circle includes the heart chakra, the solar plexus, and the throat chakra. The organs included are the heart, lungs, breast, diaphragm, and upper abdomen, pancreas, and spleen. The energy attempts to complete a circuit of this zone, and the pancreas is awakened, and the woman's sugar metabolism speeds up. The pancreas is okay here. Her blood sugar level drops as available reserves are taken inside the cells. Of course, this assumes that her insulin and glucagon functions are working. At some point during the energizing of the second zone, the woman begins her second set of spasms. The spasms may trigger an orgasm or multiple orgasms. If she cannot complete this circuit, she can be aroused no further. She may have another round of orgasms, but the party is essentially over. In reference to the cell body, the main issue here is sugar management. With respect to the energy body, the main issue here is the throat chakra. The throat chakra is where a woman stores her sexual fears. If such fears are too great, the train stops here. Remember that lack of control of appetites, as well as fears stemming from sexual anxieties, incest, rape, rejection, abortion, inadequacy, or other such trauma, will manifest too. Until these fears are resolved and false beliefs are cleared, it will be hard for the woman or man to advance to the next higher stage or plateau. The same basic things happen in stage three, excuse me, when the zones 4 and 5 are energized, the sacral chakra and brow chakra are activated together. So at stage three, the circle has expanded to include chakras 4, 3, 5, 2, and 6. These are the heart chakra, the solar plexus, the throat chakra, the sacral chakra, and the brow chakra. And if the couple can move to stage three of intercourse, this activity becomes intense. She wants to touch the man everywhere and be touched on every part of her body at the same time. She wants desperately to be acted on. Her inner feminine self now starts to emerge. She wants rough treatment now. Shout out to the brothers that are grabbing the neck at this stage. Okay. Um, she wants rough treatment now in some cases and wants the energy to overcome her. She is part conscious, part unconscious. Her right brain begins to take over. Now, at stage 4, the energy switches its focus again. The circle seeks to expand to include all 7 chakras, all zones, the entire auric field. It can be difficult for the typical woman to allow this much energy to flow through her nervous system. And it is difficult for a typical man to sustain himself to the degree without extra help. At stage 4, the woman stops having regular vaginal orgasms. When and if the bladder ganglia are energized during stage 4, and the female experiences an ejaculation, she squirts. This is not urine, but rather a fluid similar to semen. The female semen is clear and less viscous. If she does not squirt often, the fluid is a loose emulsion of various hues. Once she establishes a pattern, it becomes more consistent. Now, y'all know I can't skip over this part. Listen, listen. Okay.
I'm listening.
Shout out to all of the squirters. You are halfway there, okay?
Halfway.
This right here makes plenty of sense. And if we do a after hours book club discussion group, I have a great example of this. And
Oh, do you know?
of course I do. Of course I do. Um, Shout out to all the women that can even get there. So now we know that squirting is a different level. It's like Super Mario. Unlock the next level. What do you think, Jamal? That's deep.
Um,
Mr. Buds.
yeah, I know that there's a very small. I'm sorry. I know that there's a portion of the population that knows nothing about the squirting experience, either from a female perspective or from a male perspective. But it is most definitely, as I've observed, it is most definitely different. And as he describes, it's most definitely different. There's a whole lot more that goes into it. It's not just what comes out of it to achieving it. And once again, it's more than just a woman that's a squirter, quote unquote squirter, is just a squirter because she's a squirter. That's some people's perception, unfortunately. And it is also not The man can't even make that. A man can't even make that woman squirt. It requires some energetic input on both parts.
Mm-hmm.
And typically, I'm not talking about the unicorns, the unusual people that can just rub themselves 2 times and they squirt. I'm not.
Right. Right.
I'm sure they're out there. I'm not talking about them.
Right.
I'm talking about a genuine exchange, transference, alchemization of energies that run through the chakras and finally culminating with a release in the form of a female orgasm that we call squirting. And it
Mm-hmm.
is not juvenile. It is definitely above adult. Does it take a whole 4 hours to get to it? Not necessarily. As we talked about, just from the bringing in the getting into that third phase, there's got to be something going on the heart level, the sacral level, long before we get to the root, before we get to the head, and incorporation of all of those. And once again, not just on the part of the female.
Mm-hmm.
She's the receptor and the greater conductor of those energies, but it requires the two. The plug has to have some kind of positive conductivity or in its polarity before it goes into the socket in order for anything to be done. And I just want the last thing I'm going to say about that is that really gets to the point of, and we've said it like 3 times now in the last couple of pages, you have to be moderately
Yeah.
healthy,
Yeah.
healthy in order to engage in the level of sexual intercourse that culminates into a high energy orgasm. I'm done.
Right. Right. No, it definitely is. And I'm in that percentage that you said. I know something about it because people talk about it. I know something about it. I've seen it, you know. And I honestly thought, oh, well, this might be some urine. I did. 'Cause-
Mm.
but he says it's not. And that the more you do it, the fluid becomes more consistent. So it might start out as water or watery, but I'm just stuck on the part that says when the bladder and your ganglia are energized during stage 4. And so it's like, you don't even think about all of those organs being involved. They are there, of course, but I didn't think, oh, okay, my bladder is participating. It's like, okay. So women who never squirt typically have more issues during menstrual cycles. Some women are able to squirt before they reach this stage. That discussion will happen when we cover the pain body topic. Women can lose as much as 20 pounds in 1 month from squirting. Ladies, you working on that weight loss.
Whoa.
Indeed, in some sects, women seek to master squirting via masturbation for its weight loss and skin glowing benefits. Heavier women may ejaculate a quart of fluid easily. Her G spot will be erect at this point, along with her clitoris, and stimulation of the G spot is associated with this ejaculation. Some women try to suppress this spasm as they mistakenly fear they will lose control of their bladder, urinate.
Yeah.
There is a major difference between the normal secretion of fluids for lubrication by the female and her ejaculation event. At this point, we need to make a statement about the G spot. Frustrated men have asked me many times, where's the G spot? They search and search but cannot find it. The secret is that the G spot is a spot in the vagina. It is not
Mhm.
a spot at all. It is a tube that resembles a miniature penis. And in the typical female, it is about the diameter of a dime. And in the fortunate female, it is larger. This small tube is located above the roof of the vagina, just outside of the vagina. When the female is aroused fully, this tube becomes rigid and extends down into the folds of the vaginal muscles, and it becomes exposed to contact with the penis. Looking at a woman from the front, imagine a clock. The tube is located at either 5 minutes or 55 minutes. In other words, it is about 5 degrees from the top center point. In a teen girl, this tube extends down into the vagina very easily, which is one reason why young females can often experience such intense levels of orgasm. However, as women get older, the tube does not extend, and the tip of the tube, the spot, does not descend far enough into the folds to be reached by the penis. Now, some men have a big rim on their shaft. They massage the roof of the yoni with the rims right at the place they expect the G spot to be. This type of shape can massage the G spot even if it only extends part of the way into vaginal folds. This is also partly why certain sexual positions are better for accessing this spot. In the majority of females over 25, the spot does not extend down properly. The typical man or woman can achieve these 4 stages of orgasm if their spirit body and organic body is healthy. They will also need to be with a partner with which they share a high level of sexual chemistry. However, to go higher than this requires special techniques or a particular form of evolution. That is the subject of this book. The left side of the brain needs to be shut down. Only the right side of the brain can power the sexual body into high level orgasm. According to published reports, very few women experience a full and total orgasm with any degree of regularity. In fact, the vast majority of adult females never experience adult level orgasm at all. We're living in the sexual dark ages. Masturbation and oral sex may lead to orgasm, but in an imbalanced way. This is not to say that either is bad, but they are shortcuts in the chain. Masturbation and oral sex do not stimulate the reflexology zones in a patterned way. These forms of reaching orgasm may be necessary for some people, but can present a problem if they are practiced exclusively. Lesbian and bisexual activity short circuit the auric field. It is like placing two wires of the same color together. They force the energy to move in a direction contrary to the natural elemental polarity between the yin and the yang. There are safe ways to practice homosexuality, but these are not taught. I do not agree with the homosexual lifestyle and consider it unnatural. However, there are strange circumstances and aspects of the higher bodies that we do not fully understand. Homosexual activity may be a necessary alternative for a very small percent of the population. We do not know what we do not know. Should this be the case, they need to alter their sexual practice to make it safer. There are also aspects of this lifestyle that are extremely harmful to the main population. The
Can we
stages of,
pause?
go ahead.
So can we pause and go back to the description of the location of the G spot?
Yes, we can.
Okay, because and I just want to say a couple things about that. Um, and starting with it being it generally being the size of a dime that is either, it's basically 5 degrees to the left or 5 degrees to the right from center as you look at a woman's private parts inside. That's point one. It's already small. Dime ain't that big. And number two, the fact that
less
after,
that's just in the less fortunate female. In the fortunate female, it might be a little larger.
It can be a little larger, but on average, it's typically about a dime. And then, as it is a tube, it is an actual tube that does extend down inside. That when women are younger, teenagerish, it extends a lot further down than in older women, where it is almost impossible, and likely to be improbable that can be reached on a regular basis. And this, I point those two things out to get to this one statement. This is why communication, literal verbal communication, is so important to people that are working toward regularly achieving high energy orgasms, high level orgasms. It's not something that you can look and see and just go push it like it's a button. Women, you have to actually say, and I mean, you've seen, oh, that's my spot, that's stay right there, that's my spot. Okay. When we get to that point, there's no time to shift anymore. No more shifting of positions required. If you're trying to achieve, then you can kind of more naturally pay attention to what else is going on once you find that. But that needs to be, communicated between the two parties in order to have any level of success, because it is already typically hard to find, typically small and hard to find, and it does shrink back into the inner parts of the vagina as women age. Hence, what you got in your 20s is going to be harder to get when you're in your 50s without some real intention. And like Nina said earlier, doing it on purpose, not some incidental sexual encounter. Having enough of a connection and feeling comfortable enough with your own body and the person that you're with to actually communicate. Okay, yeah, that's it. No, that right there. Before you lose your mind and you start undulating like a snake and not able to say anything other than hiss, 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 hiss. So, yeah, I just wanted to pause about that, because a lot of people have a complex. A lot of men get a complex because the women that they've had sexual intercourse with have said that they didn't touch the G-spot. They didn't have yeah, I had a little one.
Yeah.
That can give you a context. You can have PTSD for a long time behind that.
Listen.
Likewise, women not paying attention to it and understanding that it is a small spot and it ain't 10 inches deeper into your vagina. It is more likely to be 3 to 4 inches, as I understand, 3 to 4 inches in and up. And then now we find out, because I didn't even know, that typically it's 5 degrees off the 12 o'clock position. So
that's deep.
I just told you it's not that deep. No.
It's not that deep. Okay.
But it does require intentional communication. That's all I want to point out.
Intentional communication and I would say a spiritual connection. Because with some men, they give it all. And so they pay attention, not giving it all one way, but they pay attention to women's bodies. Because when you speak about being in good communication,
Mm-hmm.
for me, I'm not in teaching mode in the moment. Now, if you want to discuss, it would not be in the moment that you discuss it, but us discussing, like I say, that banter, that communication prior to being in those awkward positions. Um, I'm just thinking when he says 3 to 4 inches, and it doesn't take. Some men have bigger rim. Um, it would take, I would think, somehow 5 degrees. So I was just thinking about the location. He said that looking at a woman from the front, imagine a clock,
Mm-hmm.
and the tube is located either 5 minutes or 55 minutes. So even a slight turn to the left or the right,
Mm-hmm.
um, you may get, more high level orgasm just paying attention to how you're positioned
Mm-hmm.
and being open. And when you talk about that, I'm just thinking like listening to your partner.
Mm-hmm.
Because some men, a woman would say, and I don't know about what a woman would say because I don't deal with women, but in that moment when someone is saying right there, or you paying attention to the sound that right there makes, that would make all the difference.
Mm-hmm.
If you just get a heavy breathing and then you get a different type of sound, that is you paying attention to what is going on in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
Not being deaf to it being a different type of sound. So I think as you stated, listening is key.
Mm-hmm.
This is just okay. Yeah.
I also heard, I've heard, okay, like the onus for everybody has to participate equally
Mm-hmm.
in getting to this high level, high energy orgasm. This is number one. And in the course of that, um, in some aspects, women have to look out for themselves to some degree.
Mm-hmm.
And that is to say, like I've heard it said before, that a lot of older women know their bodies enough
Yeah.
that they don't have to really give an audible
Mm-hmm.
um, direction. They simply take it upon themselves that you got close enough, and then they'll hook their leg right behind your leg and pull you to that one side where that feels the best to them.
Yeah.
You know, and so that maybe that it's a nonverbal cue.
Exactly.
It's a
Exactly.
nonverbal cue, and it is a form of communication. If you don't have to, where you may not feel like you necessarily teaching.
Right.
But before you let him move out of position, hook that leg, turn your hip, twist your body, deepen your arch,
Right.
you know, um, into a position that gets you closer to being able to get to what we are hoping that all of us experience on purpose, high level or high energy orgasms, the holy
Yeah.
grail of orgasms.
And the only thing I want to
All right,
add
I'm
to
done.
that, no. I just keep thinking about the hook. So women talk about the man with the hook. And so he might hook left or right, but
Five
this may
degrees, right?
5 degrees. It's like, oh, because women talk about how the hook will drive you crazy. You get one with that hook, might not be able to move on ever. And so this makes perfect sense to me. I'm like, okay, that 5 or 55 on the clock,
Mm-hmm.
that would that
It
hook,
makes it makes scientific sense now, right?
Yeah, it does.
Brothers, please do not go get some cosmetic surgery to go 5 degrees. Don't do it.
Listen, you just got to be intentional. You don't have to get surgery. You just
Don't
might have
start putting splints on your thing to train it to go.
right. Please, please don't break it. Okay. So we're gonna get into the state.
The stages of male orgasm. We driving into the last couple of pages here.
Okay.
Time is good. 5 minutes. The ejaculation function in the male is a spirit function controlled by his chakras. This basic fact must be understood. Ejaculation is not controlled by the brain, but by the chakras. There is one very critical point that needs to be made here concerning the event of orgasm in the male. The ejaculation of semen and the neurological event of orgasm in men are two separate events. Ejaculation and the orgasm are not the same thing, nor do they have to occur simultaneously. A man can pass semen through the urethra and out the penis without experiencing orgasm. This is a known medical fact. A man can also experience a dry orgasm in which the prostate contracts but does not discharge semen. Orgasm in men is a neurological event. It involves the pineal gland. There we go back again. Okay. The brain, the nervous system, and most importantly, the sacral chakra. The typical male reaches orgasm and ejaculation in sequence. The neurological orgasm is triggered by the ejaculation. At least this is the prevailing notion. However, the woman's orgasm is what should trigger the male orgasm in the most natural sequence. This is because the primal reason why a woman has an orgasm is to energize her body right before her egg is fertilized. The woman is not truly primed to receive the sperm and semen until after her orgasm. Therefore, the natural male should orgasm in sync with the female. But employing mechanical techniques alone to delay orgasm may be only partly successful. It may be better if the male first seeks to be in harmony with the female spiritually. I knew your eyebrows was coming up for that. From his efforts to be joined to her spiritually, he will begin to clear some of the obstacles to sexual activity from his spirit body. If an organ or system of the body is functioning below normal, it will cause the penis or vagina to be less sensitive to sexual stimulation. Therefore, if a person is sick, they will exhibit below normal levels of sexual pleasure and sexual intensity. The sickness can be physical or spiritual, emotional. An unhealthy person will have lower than normal sex drives. A person with a gallstone will find that a particular spot on the zone map of the genitals will not respond to sexual stimulation as it did when the gallbladder was healthy. It will still respond to some extent, but under par. A person who smokes cigarettes will not receive the intensity of sexual stimulation from the lung spot as compared to the same person who has stopped smoking and cleaned their lungs. A person with a weak heart will find that there is a dead or unresponsive spot on the penis or vaginal walls that corresponds to the heart on the reflexology map. The same thing holds true for any part of the body, from the feet to the ears. Any weakness, sickness, or spiritual imbalance will have a corresponding negative effect on that person's ability to be sexually aroused and sexually fulfilled. Certain conditions of the body are especially prohibitive to the sexual energy because they indicate that not one, but a combination of organs and systems have begun to degrade. Two such conditions are diabetes and high blood pressure. The transference of this energy bonds the male and female parents together, or at least attempts to. This discussion of the stages of orgasm is for reference. It will prove very helpful when we present such discussion as mapping the vagina, removing womb imprints, and male seed retention. Note that throughout this discussion, a distinction has been made between the cell body's role in orgasm and the energy body's role in orgasm. The reader will begin to see that the energy body plays a more vital role in sex than the cell body does. This is an important thing to remember about the four-body model. You will see that the light body plays a far more important role in high-level orgasm than the energy body does. Your thoughts?
Of course, it's just confirmation. I personally, like I said, I have always felt it to be something spiritual. But when you don't know, and when you living in a society that deems to separate the masculine from the feminine, then they don't teach you the connection. They teach you the disconnection. And so just random encounters. This is what's being pushed. And it's just like I can tell personally when a couple is presented to me and they're all glowing and like I said, they look like they're aging in reverse. In my head, it might not be true, but in my head, they have a good orgasm. High level orgasms to the point where they're healing some of the trauma that has been present. And then when I see couples, sometimes I saw a couple last night, a couple couples, and they are aging in looks like rapid up to my rapidly. They both look older. I just in my mind deem that to be some type of unhealthy connection because it'll show you the reverse, like a vampiric energy harvest of each other. And so you just never know. So for me, that's how I deem other people happy or unhappy. If they're looking older, I'm like, it's giving not really soulmate. If they looking like really young, spontaneous, carefree, relaxed, yeah, I'm like, in my mind, and I could be wrong, these people are healing each other on some level. Now I was looking for the and of course, you know, when you live, you can't find nothing you're looking for. But I was looking for the picture in the books, Awakening the Master Masculine and Awakening the Master Feminine, where he has a diaphragm and it's shaped like a circular like a clock. I have it on my computer. I will find it and I'll post it in the community section on YouTube. But it's just showing what body parts correspond to the opening in the insides of the vagina. He has a whole diaphragm. And so I'm just thinking like, this book is doing what I intended to do, which is to shift perspective because a lot of people are operating out here out of desperation. After a certain age, when you dating, you feeling like you can't find quality, so you'll hold on to certain unhealthy people or sources of energy, thinking, let me just pour more into this and maybe that potential will be there, right? You got to come potential already. That's why you got to read. That's why this is key. I intentionally do not date men that don't read because you only gonna find this in the book. You get what I'm saying? Like, you ain't finna find this in no movie, on no TV, in the movie theater. None of that. You have to actually read. And this man is healing people through these exercises. And I want to share his website, but he has actual classes that you can attend. Now I don't know how that would go when If you don't mind a third party beer, I don't know how it go. But I would not mind visiting and meeting him. And I was looking to set up an interview after the last couple of books. Things got busy, but I am going to reach out via email to see if we can get an interview or a guest visit from Master Morris. Listen, because this is key in healing. We can't just keep going about business as usual when you can be healing and clearing. And this is the holy grail of the orgasm. But this is another book that I want. I've been looking at it for a minute. Eventually, I'll get it here. You can also order a set of the Awakening the Master Masculine, the Master Feminine, which is the two we did already. But all of his books are listed on the website. The website link will be in the description part of the video. I have to think where it is on YouTube. They keep moving it around. But just showing love to this brother because he's trying to help heal us as a whole. And his books, I personally think the description of things, because I'm a visual person, matters. I didn't think of my lady parts as a clock. This is it's key. It's key. You got to know your parts. They only teach you the labia. When we growing up, they teach you all of these things, but they're not teaching you the internal and how it relates to orgasm, how it relates to your heart, your spleen. In the book, he has diaphragm, all the organs that is connected to the vagina. And so that's key. If we teaching sex education on some real stuff, why wouldn't they teach you that? You out here just popping it, liking it, dropping it, and you don't even know your own vagina. So I think this book is beautiful. It also is going to help me heal my connections. And if you know, y'all, we're over in Travelers Trust travel group, and we had a Thursday night spot for After Dark. And I learned so much in this group, y'all. I was married for 10 years, so I came out they were blowing my mind week. And I would go down and I was like, wow, this is what people are doing. I'm fresh out.
You felt sheltered?
I felt fresh out of some type of this. I was like, dang. And I just could not fathom women resorting to toys versus the real thing. It's a convenience thing, but do you want that all of the time? I just couldn't fathom somebody okay, well, this is better. Because if you don't know the vagina as a clock, you just really going for the juvenile level. And to me, it just depletes your energy. I can tell the difference in my mind, a juvenile level. I'm not going to feel energized afterwards. I'm not going to be running full speed to the garden section. You get that right orgasm, you feel like you're going to clean up your whole house. You're going to organize your life. Today, I'm organizing my life today, not just little spots in your house. And so I think it's just so, and I'm going to say, I'm going to express, it's freedom when you reach that level. And then, knowing your body. So for me, I spent the first half of my life not even experiencing an orgasm. Nobody ever set me down and explained, this is what you're trying to do. It was just like, everybody was having sex. That's it. Nobody said, oh, well, there's a climax part, and that's what you're going for. So, can you imagine a woman never even getting all the way there? Or she's just going into it, not knowing her own body and just pleasing the partner. Nobody's talking to our youth about this either. They popping babies, but there's no healing or no higher level experience. And so by the time you become an adult woman, I can imagine why the rim would be not reaching the inward depths. It's because all you've experienced is really surface level connections. Nobody has entered that thing and intentionally decided that they was gonna heal your past traumas. That's gonna unlock something inside of you, and that's why it's key to connect with people, not just on the surface level. Like I said, me and Mr. Butts have been talking now for a year. We'll give a good year. We'll say if not a year, coming up on a year.
Yeah, about that.
And so most of my friendships the same. We are built up to the point we didn't just meet people and like, oh, we friends, we BFFs. It takes getting to know someone and them wanting to intentionally get to know you. And so when you are laying down with them, they are curious about the things that you have experienced trauma wise and other sexual experiences. They want to know, how can I please you? And so I love before a good rigorous activity, a good conversation. It's a turn on piece. So it's like, oh, okay, so I've learned something about you that I did not know. And then I'm looking at you in a different eye. And so all of what he said, I don't know if it resonates with everybody out there, but it resonates with me. It makes perfect sense. Do you feel, once we had the conversation about casual encounters, do you feel that this explains why my answer has been repeatedly no? Keep it moving.
You mean, do I
Do you understand more?
do I not look at you as being just a greedy? No,
I want it all. I want it all. Don't give me nothing.
No, I mean, absolutely. I mean, there was never. I mean,
you know, I know.
It was never any. Yeah, it wasn't a. I was really just a. It might have come off as a probing question. I really felt like I knew the answer already, which I did. I knew your answer, but I do like to push your buttons every once in a while.
Antagonize me. That's what he be doing. He got to.
I do. Like, let me get her Sagittariusness going off about something on that. But anyway,
yeah.
So yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, I mean, the already knowing the person that you are, the caliber person you are, and that you are more spiritually free than most. I would expect that you would not want to engage in just the casual one night stand, unconnected sexual encounter that had no intention of romantic, intimate relationship development. That was a no brainer for me. Yeah, I just want to hear you rail about it for a minute.
And listen, I'm not perfect, but I am clear about what it is that I want, what it is that I prefer. So don't get me wrong. It might be an instance where you catch me and I ain't interested in a connection. It might be. But the older I get and the more experience, I am just more intentional.
Mm-hmm.
Now you could have caught me fresh out, back outside, and got surface level. You don't know. You could have caught me in my teens where I'm out there just clueless. I ain't had no clarity in my. There was no clarity present in the shenanigans of the teens and adolescents of me. But as a grown woman, yes, I want it all. And I want it to be intentional. And I want the time. I want the 4 hours. So
yeah.
That's just
that yeah.
That was the inside.
And that is why, that's another one. Yeah.
We had a discussion in
you definitely have to be healthy if you're messing with Miss Pitts.
Period.
You have to be a marathon running caliber if you are going to date Miss Pitts and be her husband. Because 4 hours every night, twice a day.
Not twice a day now. Now you're putting not twice a day.
That's what you said.
Now, if it's 4 hours, I don't need 4 hours twice. Now, for me, if I reach a juvenile, I can't move forward. So you got to bring your game the first time, because anything else is gonna be mediocre. But just being intentional. So an inside joke in Travis Trust. Uh, and y'all can go over and support. I love people. I build networks, and so Travelers Trust community on Facebook. Um, it's a traveling group, not just cruises, but I met them via cruise, and I did an interview. I will link that as well in this in description box. But we have podcast time, and so in discussing, I was referencing like the 4 hour experience. Like, okay, yes, and no, it doesn't have to be 4 hours straight through, but the experience. It's like you going to a good concert. They're going to make sure that there's levels to the experience. And so you're going in, and I would describe the first level is eye candy. You see the person, they looking good, smelling good, you looking good, smelling good. Y'all energy is open towards each other. You get that warm embrace. And then level 2 might be having a conversation. Put on a little R&B in the background, and you just chick. Me, I pull out my little dating cards. Y'all know I've talked about this. I'm not in a partnership. I don't get paid. I just like to experience. So this is the self-love deck, but they have a dating deck. And so I pull that out when I'm spending time with my intentionals. Okay? My potentials. And potentials. So, I prefer you call them potential, but I need to know what their mind is working like. And so I pull out those cards. And sometimes the answer to some of the questions can be the building of that bridge between the physical, and I ain't gonna say in between the squirting because that would take it too far. I'm not personally squirting.
Well, I mean, there are building blocks, like you said. There's a lot of pieces of the puzzle, and if you're trying to do it intentionally, and we, we're discussing it on a spiritual or scientific level, absolutely. But let's keep it baseline, real. These are really some things that people do on a more shallow level.
Yes.
And a lot of them are, I'm not saying, okay, on average, yes, men want to make women feel good when they engage them
and vice versa.
For sex. They do. But primarily they want to make them feel good want to make the woman feel good so that they can feel good.
Right.
And just physical. Normally, it's just the physical.
Right.
What we're exploring here, talking about getting into the holy grail of orgasm, is going beyond just the etheric, the physical, beyond the cell, but combining in the other two bodies as well, so that your energy is also employed, and that you have the opportunity, the light body, that's the other one I couldn't remember, the light body as well, so that when you've connected all four of them, that there's something that's not one night standish.
Right.
It is something, not only will the effects of the experience remain longer than the 10-15 minutes it takes you to catch your breath and make the peanut butter and jelly sandwich and send him on his way in the Uber X, but you'll be thinking about it the next day, or get to the point of, as you are walking through the Home Depot, Walmart, or whatever place, the flowers just draw you in. Hopefully, you've gotten past the stuff on the farm smell. Because I thought about that. I said, well, if the flowers, if the smell of the aroma of the flowers is more intense, does that mean the cow manure is more intense too? On the farm?
You can't smell nothing, no cow manure.
Question. Yeah, but you're getting beyond that, and it's a sad thing. You said something earlier about not, having had sex in your youth, but not ever having an orgasm, and that really is a common theme, and one that is more prevalent than a lot of people want to admit. That particularly with women, I'm not saying that men don't. There are men that have had sex and not had and not ejaculated. Because as we just read in the last part, ejaculation is different from orgasm. They haven't even ejaculated, much less gotten to an orgasm. And those that do get to ejaculate think that that's the end all be all, and they never wait or they never work toward an orgasm, which is much more than just the release of some seminal fluid uh, into whatever vessel that you're releasing it into.
Right.
There's a series. Gwyneth Paltrow, an actress, she's got a group, and they produced a couple of movies. Goop, GOOP, is the name of the group, and Sex, Love, and Goop is like one of the movies that I remember seeing. One of the shows I remember them seeing, and they brought in a small group of couples, and they were asking about orgasms, and there was more than one woman that's when asked the question, so have you ever had an orgasm with your husband? Some said no, and some said, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that was the most disappointing answer of all. And these were not young women. These were not teenage women. These were people like 30s, 40s. I think there was a couple in their 60s there as well. But it's a conversation we don't have often enough. What is an orgasm? What does it feel like? Did I have it or did I not have it? I think I know this popular show now called Bridgerton. You heard that?
I've seen it.
Bridgerton, right? Have you watched those seasons?
No, I haven't.
Okay. Bridgerton. I think they're in season 4.
Mm-hmm.
There's been no less than 3 situations where the women who were engaged in sex with their husbands did not know anything about either their own whether or not they had an orgasm themselves, or even that the man was supposed to have one and what that should look and feel like.
Right.
That's period piece, sure, but it really is something that I hope that this conversation can get us past, and we can evolve and grow beyond it, because we can have better sex if we have more intentional sex for better reasons.
Right.
Better reasons. So, hey, Nina, I want to do something.
Okay.
I know not everybody has the book, and some people are following along, and definitely you can do that, and that is absolutely great. She's already sent the link for for you to order the book for yourself if you want to do that. But what I'm going to do today is this. When we end our show at 11 o'clock, the first person to DM me with the phrase forehead kiss, I'm going to buy you the book.
Okay.
Don't do it now. When we say goodbye at 11 o'clock, we say farewell at 11 o'clock, safe travel. The very first person that DMs me on Messenger, Jamal M. Butts, easy, just like it's written before you. Just find me on Facebook, send me a message. First person that hits me up, I'm gonna buy you a copy of the Holy Grail of Orgasm if you don't have one.
Say, man, I love you for that. That is so sweet.
You do that, okay?
He gonna make me cry. He gonna make me cry.
Don't cry. Hold on. Lean in a little bit. No, put your head down. Okay.
Now you gotta come to the farm. You gotta come to the farm. Listen, I have put Mr. Butts' Facebook link. We're here.
There it is. There you go.
In the chat, he's the first person to DM him. What's the term?
After we finish the session at 11 o'clock, DM me with the code word, the phrase, forehead kiss. Forehead is one word. Kiss is another word.
Okay, so I'm gonna put that up on the screen.
Okay.
And you said 2 words, forehead kiss. Man, this book is so good. So for me, I feel really great because I didn't know how this would pan out, of course. When I thought of the book, automatically people think sex. And so to read it amongst a friend, advisor, I thought it was going to be a little awkward because Mr. Butts helps me to manage my life, okay? And so we're going to be real clear. He is in character just a man. I'm used to my uncles, my granddads. I had a wonderful stepdad. We talked about all this on the Travel Trust podcast. And so when you experience a level of man, you're able to recognize that in people, and you know it's action based. And so when I met, I'm gonna give y'all a little history. When we met, he reached out to me and he made sure, as a man, that he wasn't coming to me in any type of sexual or personal way. He made it clear, hey, I can help you. I heard you talk about being behind on everything. I was in panic mode, honestly, y'all. I talk about mental health on my platform. I talk about experiences. So if you know Sagittarius usually experiences a great deal of letdowns, disappointments, and all that, but we're very optimistic. So we don't let it hold us down, but sometimes it just feels good to know that somebody cares. You'll say it, you put your little beacon out there. We're very private, so you wouldn't know it. But at our meeting, I was falling apart. I had just come back from a cruise. I did not want to come back home. I want to move. I'm going to be honest. If you ever on a cruise, having to come back home, I fought home for like 6 months after cruise. I did not want to get back into work. I did not want to be here, home. I love my seed. I love my home, my farm. I did not want to be here. And so we met in a period of my life, my journey, that I was falling apart and just really trying to pick up the pieces. I had not grieved my grandmother's death. And so all of that was coming down on me. And even though I know how to show up and have fun and laugh and stuff, podcast wise, because it was keeping me busy, the deep down reality for me was I was not handling my business. And ain't nobody gonna handle your business with you. Okay. And so for him to pick out of all that was being said on the podcast, he focused in on the fact that I said I needed help. Everybody else was focused. The DMs was DMing. The focus was not help. The focus was like, I don't know. I'm like, okay. And so I became overstimulated. And so it was just refreshing for somebody to reach out and not be talking about some casual hookup or how pretty I am. I can appreciate that, but if my life is falling apart, pretty gets me nowhere. Okay. It's like, the files was all high. The pretty wasn't pretty, okay? I'm like, that has nothing to do with it. And I was falling apart. And so it's just refreshing when you meet people of I would say upward character and on a spiritual level. Now, of course, we both are Phillies. We do have an interview coming soon where we're gonna get more into the relationship we're building. I want you all to experience Mr. Butts the way I have. Excellent cook. This is what draws me to his page. Anybody that has ingredients of different flavors and just really putting intention into food. Listen, you're gonna catch my eye. It's like, dang, what you cooking? So you all please go over to the Facebook and show him some love. You can see for yourself, but just even I love the way that he's showing up here. I'm willing to assist anybody in their help of getting the book in their hands. This is a good book. I'm a person that I need physical copies. I don't necessarily like the digital stuff. It's cool, but I like to cuddle up with my books. You know what I'm saying? So I like to highlight, as you all saw me, I got sticky notes. I'm like, my books are serious. And so you all don't forget to go over, show them some love, follow, subscribe, whatever they call it on Facebook. What do they call it on Facebook?
Follow. I guess follow. Yeah. I don't know the difference, but if there's an option to follow. If you just want to, I know you can do the friend thing, right?
Right. So
okay. So if you request friendship, that's enough.
And
I'm not ultra busy. I do a couple things. I got my reservations for one series of cooking, and it had kind of been lagging, but I'm getting ready to get back into the business of it. So yeah, that's going to start, and then it'll allow you to connect to my other page. My performance page is JB Rhythm, and so again, she said we'll talk about that. But yeah, I've done spoken word.
Drop JB Rhythm in the chat because I will drop it like in the description versus people having to go find it. But just a layered person. We have a lot in common. For me, and I want to give him his flowers now. This thing was supposed to be a little more organized, but everybody knows Sage. Like, we're very spontaneous, and so you might not necessarily get organization, but we do get shit done. Excuse my language. And so for me, he put gas in my tank, the gusto to like, okay, yeah, you got to get a little more organized and more intentional about your day. Okay. Because I go out there in the garden and get lost. 2-3 days. And like, did you finish the trust stuff? It's like, no, I've been out there just wandering around in the yard. And so just becoming more intentional and then seeing people where they are. We spoke on that last week. It's like all of the chit chat and the chatter was cool in that moment, but the intentional connections, the ability to see the unseen, that's gift, that's spirit. And so this book, I just figured, okay, we're gonna be reading this. I wonder it's gonna get awkward. It's like, of course it is not gonna be awkward because you both are spiritual people. It's like we can dive in and make light of such serious topic. This is serious. And so for me, it's confirming for me, I don't want another connection that is casual. I'm good on the casual. I've experienced it. Kudos to everybody that continues along that road, but I just need to look. I need clarity and healing. So, Master Morris, listen, he's explaining to you, and then he's telling you the stages of this orgasm. And I go back to what I was initially saying, the build up. So people think about the 4 hours, and they was laughing at me. Like, oh, you gotta have 4 hours, but it's the build up. You're not physically hunching for 4 hours. It's the layers, the communication, the music being played in the background. Sometimes it's dinner, and it's all intentional and an energy exchange. If you come in just to hit it, I'm just not interested because afterward I'm gonna be in my head about it. Like, dang, And for me, I still relate it to a low vibrational exchange. It's something I can do alone. Let's be honest. I don't need, but making deposits in that thing to where it builds up on the inside, and then you can express that outwardly with your partner, and then remaining open during. Like Mr. Bush was talking about listening. I was talking about listening to the sound changes in your partner's moans, or I'm audio anyway. So even though I'm not a teacher in that, I still want to hear sound. I want to hear you. I'm paying attention to your breaths. If they're deep, if they're shallow, I'm always going for the deep breaths. You know what I'm saying? Like, it confirms within myself I'm doing my job.
Mm-hmm.
I'm taking your breath away, and so say, say the work is work. Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm wishing happy high level, we call them HLOs,
Mm-hmm.
high level orgasms to everyone. I want that's why we chose this book. And we wish that on everybody healing, clarity. This is what you're looking for in another person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And whether it be once a month, once a week, once a day, hoping that it'll elevate you in the other areas of your life to where you can show up in
Mm-hmm.
the world a healed person versus trauma based, and it'll launch you to be the example that you want to see
Mm-hmm.
in the world. Be the example of the change you want to see in the world, right? So, do
Yeah.
you have anything you want to focus on from what we just read here?
Yeah, I think just the I'm gonna call it the chronology of how a high level orgasm is reached
Mm-hmm.
is one of the things that I think is going to be paramount. And as we're kind of kind of trying to drive this one point home, even by doing this, the reading of this book, which is I didn't even look how many chapters do we have? Is 6, 7? Is
It is
we'll be 14.
14.
We'll be just getting through the book one chapter per week.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be talking about this for 14 weeks at least, and we're going to be driving this point home, and that is the foundation of getting to experience this very spiritual um, level of orgasm requires communication.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just studying the nuances of how to move left, right, the Kama Sutra charts, and all of that. It's beyond that. There's communication and connection driven through that communication will help you get to experience at least an adult / high level orgasm. And I
Mm-hmm.
say that, so you'll get the high level, but maybe it won't last uh, a whole week. But in time and with intention, and Ms. Pitts always knows one of the things I repeat frequently, because how you do one thing is how you do everything. You're
Mm-hmm.
gonna have to do it on purpose. And if I was writing that, it's gonna always be capitalized, every letter. Do
Mm-hmm.
it on purpose. Please yourself on purpose, please your partner on purpose, through a foundation of good communication, healing your any traumas you have, as Ms. Pitts said, you're getting healthier, eating healthier. It's not just eat a cup full of strawberries and berries a couple of hours before you have sex. There is more to it than that,
Right.
because it requires energizing all four bodies, as
Right.
we said, the light body, the energy body, etheric body. Um, no, every time I say it, I forget one, but energizing all four bodies, your cell body, and so that they can alchemize and create such a high level of electrical connectivity that each partner reaches that HLO stage.
Right.
So do it on purpose. On purpose.
And I did find the diaphragm. I'm going to share the screen in our last 10 minutes. I just want y'all to get a visual. Shout out to the visual learners. We know that there are over 13 learning types. I am a visual and a kinetic. I learn by seeing and doing
Mm-hmm.
in practice. Okay. And
Mm-hmm.
so we want to offer more than just us talking. A lot of people learn through lecture, but
Mm-hmm.
it is a percentage, a low percentage. People in education assume that you can just talk to people and they'll get it. But some people need to.
Mm-hmm.
And so I want to offer to you a visual
Mm-hmm.
of what Master Morris was talking about in the book. And I'm sharing it right now.
Mm-hmm.
But that will help so that you can visualizing your own spare time, privacy, your own home, in your practices.
As you
He
practice.
spoke on how Mr. Butt said, I'm gonna say it just the way I talk. You might be able to rub one out. It's like that is fine, but it is not high level. It's a low level. And I know personally, you might just want to go to sleep. You know, that would be most reason why people, or you just want to relax. But most people are experiencing low level because they're trying to go to bed. They can't. They up. Your mind going. You're like, okay, let me, whoa, and it's just low vibration. It's just gonna put you to sleep. And so here is the diagram, I mean, of what I was telling you all about. Let me zoom in.
I need that about 300-400%.
Right. What about now? Is it bigger for you?
It didn't get bigger. It moved over to the center, but it did not get bigger.
Let me look at it again. What about now?
It got smaller.
What?
It got bigger now. Now it got bigger.
Okay, so this is from a chapter in Awakening the Master Feminine, where he talks about awakening the rose, which is essentially you waking up that feminine in a woman. A lot of men talk about women being masculine, blah blah blah, all the time. Not knowing that you have to put in work to get that softness. And I don't know why this part of the slide is cut off, but as you all can see, that 12 o'clock mark, and then he's saying 5 or 55. So you can see the time that he places on the clock. And I'll forward this to you. But
is that an eye?
Yep.
Okay. I finally read the middle says pupil.
Right.
Right in the middle. Okay, and then out to the stomach, intestines. Yeah.
So all I'm thinking is clear my glaucoma, clear
yeah, right. Clean. Okay, so yeah, I've never seen this one, but it reminds me of a typical reflexology chart that I've seen from Eastern medicine. Probably most people know the one, the bottom of the foot. There's a point in the bottom. There's some point on the bottom of everybody's foot, every organ or portion of the body. Just down there on the foot. That's why if you got a good foot massager, you can do some things.
Listen, stretching, all of the things. I value a good massage. I value lymphatic massage. I value anything that's going to get your cells moving and shifting around. Last night it was 4:30, but by the time I hit the bed, by 15 minutes after that, I had completed my lymphatic massage because I just felt puffy everywhere. I had been driving for hours. I had been up all day cleaning up my house. And so it was like a relief. Your cells have to drain and purge toxins. And so you have to take out that time, and it's not going to always be at masseuse, or, well, we know the masseuse is the sexual ending. So not the masseuse, the massage therapist. Okay. Massage therapists are offended when you say masseuse. And so we know when you go to a massage therapist, they're going to work those kinks out. Since I've been more intentional about massaging my own body, I bought a lymphatic massager. I'm pretty sure y'all saw it on TikTok. It went viral. I bought it because it offers red light therapy and electrical shock. And so, of course, ladies, I bought it for my midsection to get this guts down before my trip. But one day I put it here on my shoulder, which had so much fluid and tension, and it shocked me. And I'm like, dang, wait a minute. All of the tension was gone. My shoulder has never felt more relief after that shock. And so you have to be very intentional about removing waste and just touching yourself. If there's nobody around to touch you, you can't focus on waiting to get someone to perform those things for you. Start with you, and not rubbing one out, but being more intentional in your touch. When I first was going through my divorce, I used to tell my one of my closest friends, shout out to you, Jennifer. And Jennifer told me, she said, instead of waiting on somebody to hug you, because I used to always talk about, I need a hug, I need a hug. Like, it was a broken record. I need a hug, I need a hug. She was like, when was the
Hug
last
yourself.
time? She said it. When was the last time you hugged yourself?
Mm-hmm.
And when I started that practice, of hugging myself, it made me weepy eyed because I had not experienced hugging myself ever. It was very weird, to be that vulnerable with me. And it just felt better. So I started a practice of hugging myself every day. Life is too short to be waiting for a moment to intentionally pour into you. And that goes for HLOs and other things beyond. Like, really take our time. I'm very into healing. Mr. Butts, no, I'm gonna talk your head off about some herbs or some kind of new medicine I've discovered. And so that's just what it is. And so being more intentional with your touch with yourself, being more sensual with yourself. When I do the lymphatic massages, it makes me be more intentional about getting things going and sitting with myself to see how that makes me feel in the overall outcome, of course. And so I encourage everybody to just find a practice with you. Start with you. Be the change you want to see in the world. And I appreciate everybody that has stayed on this long. Everybody who is watching the replays all the way to the end. Y'all show us some love. Watch our way in. Even if you're busy cleaning up and listening, let it play throughout. Sometimes I'll pull it up to recap. And of course, that pushes us up in the algorithm. We are providing you with insight, knowledge, and time. No charge. I'm not monetized. We're not in it for the monies.
Right.
So show us love back. Comment. Don't forget to go over to Mr. Butt's Facebook page, and the first person to DM Forehead Kiss, if you would like a copy of the book, he said he got you.
Got you. Yeah. My final commentary is this, if I can, Ms. Pitts, is that, a lot of times we inhibit our fear. We inhibit our conversation because of fear for some reason or another. And I just really want to encourage people to, particularly if there's some couples or if you're an individual not necessarily watching with your partner, but you've had some issues or you have a desire just to improve, to not be afraid of having the conversation. Engage in it as respectfully as you possibly can, as soberly as you possibly can, and have the conversation. I just want to say, we need to stop celebrating and embracing your fear and let it dissolve. This is really the only way to make room for you to transform and to evolve. And that's just the isness of it. So, namaste, everyone. Have a fabulous day and hopefully great orgasms. Till next week.
Okay. Peace and power. And we're out of here.
All right. Ciao.